Hey, I'm Brodie Brazil, and welcome to Teal Town After Dark.
Good evening, hockey fans all over the world, and especially fans of Team Teal. It is Wednesday night, January 2nd, 2019. Happy New Year, everyone. This is Teal Town After Dark, your live and interactive Sharks postgame show. The original, I guess we could call it, right? On YouTube. I am Erik. You can always follow me on PuckGuy14 on the Twitter and Instagram. And of course, if you want to be a part of the show, there are multiple ways to interact with us. Join us in the chat with us and fellow Sharks fans in the YouTube chat on the page or the app. And of course, follow us on the social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, and of course, smash that subscribe button. We want to thank over the 1,100 people who have subscribed to our YouTube channel. We really appreciate it. We hit 1,100, I think, after last game, after the Sharks lost. But this time, the Sharks win. It was scary, but they won 5-4 over the Colorado Avalanche. Along with me to break this game down is Mr. AJ Strong.
Dude, huge ups to Marty McFly. Huge ups. I appreciate you, bro. I saw what you did, and I appreciate it. We'll discuss off here, but
got it.
I appreciate it. Very cool of you.
All right, so let's get at it. And grip it and rip it and get at it, folks. It was a game that I think, AJ, we kind of expected this team to be a little angry about.
Which one, dude? The one coming in on a 5-game losing streak, or the one that got their butts handed to them in Calgary?
You know, you have a good point there. But the Avalanche were down, 5-game losing streak. The Sharks frustrated as heck as they take on the Colorado Avalanche following that 8-5 loss. Started off really early. Tyson Barrie hooks Joe Pavelski a minute 7 into the game. I'm like, okay, we got a power play going. And then at 2:15, AJ, Joe Pavelski, his 24th of the season, their power play, it's improved, and we didn't fire Steve Spott after all.
It's improving. It's a game they get 2 power play goals. Let's not all start,
It's true.
Not start all pleasuring each other all at once. Again, it's one of those things where I like to see trends. Anybody can any player can come into the league and have a good 5-game output and then not see them again for like 20 games. So let's not, let's address Steve in the chat. What did you hear about Braun?
It just came out from Paul Gackle. He was walking out of the Sharks dressing room without any help. He said he tweaked his right knee. It doesn't think it's serious. He'll get looked at it tomorrow when they're back in San Jose.
So thank God it was not
fatality.
I'm sorry. I've been looking for
oh my God.
Looking for a reason to use that.
I can't wait to get my soundboard. Oh goodness.
The other thing, of course, we need to note before we go further, Shimmick obviously out after sustaining concussion from the Sam Bennett hit. Ryan slots in. I haven't even blown through all the numbers yet, but I'm sure they're, no. Well, okay. Ryan's going to get extra because Justin Braun got laid up later in the game. But anyway, a team that's still 28th in Team D, that's not what you want to see. But anyway, tic-tac-toe play from Burns and Couture to Pavelski on the power play. Looks good. Good start. Again, Colorado, 5-game losing streak, yet still 3rd in the Central. So it's not like this was a team that you should walk all over.
No, and this team has been dynamite and has been scary offensively lately. I mean, shoot. we're going to get into the all-star stuff later, but I mean, Rantanen, McKinnon, Barrie is an unbelievable defenseman for the Avalanche. Throw in Landeskog and a few supporting players along with Long Beach native Matt Nieto.
Only one mention tonight. I was so disappointed.
Hey, but you know what? Kudos to John Forsland for doing
Yeah, that was for all you people that had the one really big glass. You were very happy for that playing the game.
So Pavelski was 24th on the power play, Couture and Burns on the assist. According to Pierre, and of course we all know how accurate he can be, the Sharks have 30 out of 124 on their power play chances this season. They're 8th in the NHL, which there are times where they look like they could be 88th in the NHL in power plays.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Chango in the chat. Did anybody see Jamie Benn get blasted?
Yes.
Yes, saw that during the intermission, and I fully expect Jim Lights to come out tomorrow and blame Ben for that hit in print.
And that did it not look like a similar play from Shimmick and Bennett? But I'll digress. All right. Moving on.
Can I just point out one thing?
Sure.
And I pointed that we did the Pucknologist earlier today, so brand new episode just dropped before the game started tonight. But we did point out the fact that the Sharks involved in 3 key hits. You know, the Erik Karlsson hit on Austin Wagner. We have Ekman Larson on LeBanc, and then you have Bennett and Shimmick. 3 huge hits. The only one that was deemed suspension worthy was the only one that wasn't called a penalty during the game. I just find that hysterical, but I digress. Anyway, at 8:20.
At 8:20, I'm sorry, I thought you were going to take it. 8:20, Calvert gets his 6th on the power play. It was a delayed penalty going on Brendan Dillon. I believe it was for holding. But the one thing I noticed on this, Sorensen kind of puck watched a little bit and left it open for Calvert to convert on that one.
Absolutely. Like a terrible transition. And Dillon actually was going to be called, but because Calvert converted during the delayed penalty, of course, Dillon doesn't have to sit in the box, but Long Beach native getting an assist on that.
Sorry.
Either way, yeah, that was just some terrible defense, terrible transition. And at that point, when it's 1-1, you're kind of sitting here going, oh, here we go. And it's been this now. Again, I said I like trends. There was a trend at the beginning of the season that seems to have gone backwards, that the Sharks used to come out really strong in the first and they would lull in the second. Sometimes they'd be able to ride out the third. Sometimes they would sleepwalk through the third. And over the last 10, 12 games or so, it's taken them 5 or 6 minutes to wake up. Obviously not the case tonight, but their second period has been better than their first overall these last 12 to 15 games. It's the third that is making me nervous, more and more nervous.
Right? It used to be the second. But moving on, and then just almost a minute and a half later, Goodrow goes in for a cross check on McKinnon.
And we tweeted out the gif of that, and boy, yeah, Goodrow just absolutely leveled.
Oh,
McKinnon.
Man.
I'm surprised McKinnon was able to get off the ice on his own power.
But nothing materialized on that power play, thankfully. And then 13-11 is roughly the time when Braun. AJ, how could you describe what happened to Braun there? I mean, it just seemed like his legs got tangled up or something.
It's either that or he hit a rut in the ice, something. When I saw the replay, first off, it looked like an ankle. And when I first saw the replay, I thought he might have lost a blade off of one of his skates. It just looked really odd. Didn't look like a knee thing, but that's what they're saying. So I'll take him at face value. I mean, at least they're not going to get away with lower body injury on this one. But, well, if we find out anything, we'll find it out tomorrow. We know that they do not like to disclose any type of an injury. But hopefully he gets back soon. We know that team defense has been in the dumper a lot of this season. And I'll be honest, there's a few people on Twitter saying, you know what? This might be just what Braun needs. Like maybe he needs to sit a game, rest his knee, maybe watch one from the press box. So,
yeah. And all all seriousness, let's hope he's okay on this. If he misses some time, it couldn't come at a better time. The Sharks have this game, and then they get a day off, and then they have a back-to-back coming up at the beginning of next week. So give him maybe that day off against Tampa. Hopefully he's okay. I mean, he came back for a shift in the second period, and he was a plus on that shift for crying out loud. But
well, and I also think it needs to I don't know if this is, boy, it makes you wonder what the hell messages DeBoer's trying to send here. The fact that Brendan Dillon last game rides the bench for the third period, but doesn't even hit the 10-minute mark. Tonight has more ice time, has a full minute more. Has a full 2.5 minutes more than Marc-Edouard Vlasic. It just makes you wonder. Maybe PDB is finally starting to say, okay, Vlas, it's time for you to put it together. I don't know.
Or maybe the message was sent from Brendan Dillon's likes on Twitter.
Oh, okay. For those of you unaware, so after the game versus Calgary, there were 2 tweets, and I think only one of them actually tagged Brendan Dillon. The other one didn't hit his Twitter handle. But they both were the same message essentially, which was WTF. What the hell is PDB doing not having Dillon out there in the third period? Now, I think a lot of people were kind of thinking that. But the bigger issue to that was about a half hour after those tweets were put out, they were liked by a couple different people. One of them being Brendan Dillon himself. Now, hey now.
Thank you, Mike.
Hey, Pavs, no more. We don't need to re-sign. But what we don't need? What? No more. We don't need to re-sign Pavs talk. Not saying names. Okay. Well, that's if you're gonna blow a whole $5 on it, at least use English. No, I'm kidding. I'm assuming he's saying no more re-sign Pavs talk.
Yeah, and this just in, we refund it because
But anyway, the fact that Dillon liked that, then the next morning he unliked that. Little interesting there. Because you would think that the only reason why you would sit Dillon in that situation is if he's nursing something. And based on him liking both of those, I'm thinking that was not the case. PDB either trying to send a message, do something. Rocket, her point was maybe it's a case of that game was so out of hand that putting, big bad Dillon out there might have driven things further. Who knows? But I still, you know what? At least it worked out because you lost Braun early in this game, so Dillon was able to play extra minutes because he was certainly well rested. I mean, Erik Karlsson tonight, almost 31 minutes. Brent Burns, 29 minutes, and I even tweeted it out when Braun went down. I was like, well, I hope these guys can play 30 minutes tonight because with Braun going down, that's what it's going to take. And we all know that PDB doesn't have a whole lot of faith in Yoki. So,
yeah, and it'll be interesting to see. But like Dave said in the chat earlier, you have Serviceable D ready to go for you. You have Heed, you have Joachim Ryan. Joachim, he had a turnover later on, but nonetheless, we're getting ahead of ourselves on that part.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing is you're obviously going to hear something about Braun tomorrow.
Right.
And the bigger key as to how serious it is if between now and Saturday, if you see Nick DeSimone called up or something from the Kuhre.
Right.
And
that's the one that I think will be interesting on that out. Cheryl, yes, Shimmick is out with a concussion, according
likely
to the
day to day. Sure, game time decision on versus Tampa, but it wouldn't surprise me if they hold him out.
That's where the extra half hour comes into play, AJ.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, dear Lord. You know what was I don't mean to throw a guy under the bus. But there is a friend of ours that's actually is known a bit as a YouTube personality, shall we say? And He was even asked, like, why is hey now, just another Randy G throwing 2019 in the pot. Thank you, sir.
Beautiful. Thank you, Randy.
Happy 2019 to
Wow.
you too. But he was asked why the delayed start versus Tampa Bay. Why is it started at 8:00? And there was so much speculation of, are they because of the Nolan bobblehead? Are they going to retire Owen Nolan's number?
And
No.
I kind of, I will say this. I said that back in June when we speculated in September, and I kind of have to, blame myself for getting that thing going. So my apologies.
Yeah, but it's been going around now for a while that it's like, no, the NCAA college championship game is at Levi's. They're having a media event the same day, early January 5th. And because of that, they had to push everything back a half an hour to make sure everything was cool. That's all it is. That's it. Share it. Tell a friend. The more you know.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right. So
moving back to the game.
Yeah, so Melker was held at 15:52 of the first. Nothing really came of that. This power play is so streaky. It looks really hot, and then it's just like, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, you literally just scored off a power play 10 minutes ago. I don't know what the hell you're up to, but boom, all of a sudden Burns would go, oh, wait a minute, boys. I got this. I got it.
But there was another penalty there. Calvert had a high stick on Pavelski that set up the 5-on-3, which then set up for the Burnsy blast.
And you know what? Okay, yeah, because it's like I'm putting gifts together. I'm trying to watch a game. I'm jotting down notes. Okay, I know what that is.
I got your back, bud.
Yeah, because after Burns did score on the 5-on-3, and it was within the time, so the Sharks still had power play time. That's the one where I'm going, you guys just scored. What the hell? Why does it look so bad now?
And on the Burnsy's goal, his 7th of the season, EK65, his 11th straight game with a point, as long as you don't count the 2-game suspension, along with Pavelski on that one. I mean, shoot, I think he's starting to gel, AJ.
Dude, bro's on fire right now. In fuego. Beach Boys fan forever. Thoughts on this? My family thinks we should trade LeBanc for Ryan O'Reilly. I can't imagine why. I'm just putting myself in the other team's shoes. Why would I trade for why would I trade O'Reilly for LeBanc? I'm just trying to figure that out. I haven't looked at the money, but if I have if I have O'Reilly, I'm not making that deal because LeBanc is not producing.
So you're not going to make that deal?
No.
All right.
I don't make that deal right now. I mean, if they want to give me O'Reilly for LeBanc straight, again, I got to go run the numbers, but would I take O'Reilly over LeBanc? Probably. I don't know. I'd have to run the numbers.
All right. 1821. Jones denies Soderberg on a shorthanded breakaway. That was a nice one to pretty much finish the first period on, AJ. I think Jones had a pretty good start up until the third period.
Beach Boys fan forever. LeBanc and Dylan for O'Reilly. Ask Rocket how that goes. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. What was your question?
I said, and that was the Jones save at the shorthanded chance by Soderberg that finished off the great first period for the Sharks, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic. And yeah, to echo other people, no, Dylan has been like the shining light of the defense. I mean, obviously you've got your superstars with Burns and Carlson, but as badly as Vlasic and Braun have been this season, Dylan has, just exponentially gotten better this season, is far more reliable. And look at him with his plus minus. I think there's something that stands to reason that, Erik Karlsson makes people better. But now that Dylan doesn't have DeMello, I mean, when you give Dylan talent to work with, look at how Dylan has responded. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the way the first would roll. What? Where are the shots on goal for that?
It was 11-7 Colorado. Face-offs, Colorado led 60-40. And
All right.
And in the last 5 games, San Jose is 3 for 16 on the power play.
Mm-hmm. All right. Trending slightly better.
Entering tonight's game. So
yeah.
Second period now. The fourth line. I mean, yes, it's got LeBanc on there, and it's got Melker, who's also been on a good roll lately, and Goodrow's been, getting some chances. LeBanc with a nice drop pass. Melker tries to go full on Chichu / hurdle, putting the between the legs move on there. I thought was crazy. And then at 4:15, Braun was back out there giving it a go as much as he possibly could. But then Evander Kane gets his 12th of the season at 4:15, making it 3-1. I thought that started changing the game in favor of San Jose on this night.
Just a solid, sweet move from Kane, who has 11 points over his last 13 games. It's nice to see him starting to put it together. He started off so hot in like the first 7 to 8 games and then kind of cooled. Yeah. It's nice to see him over the last 13 games starting to put it back together, almost at a point per game pace. And tonight, that's one of the sweetest goals you're going to see. I mean, hard on the forecheck, steals it off the defender, bounces a pass to himself off the backboard, swings it around, and just drills it. And seeing eye shot. That was a fantastic shot from Kane, and it wasn't the thing that made the wheels fall off for Colorado, but let's just say he was loosening the lug nuts with that goal.
Well, I think 2 minutes and 3 seconds later, it just fell apart when Jonas Donskoy gets his 10th of the season on a wraparound.
Wrap.
It's like you knew I was going to say something there.
It's the only one you're getting tonight, my friend.
No, you're fine. Burns and Vlasic with the goal or with the assist there. Colorado makes the switch and puts in Franzuz into the game, who's been rock solid for the Eagles, their minor league affiliate in the AHL. So at 4-1 with 6:18 into the second period, AJ, we got this. No problem, right?
You would think like all it is now is like, hey, you've got this nice lead, play strong team defense. I know that's not your strength this season, but work on playing strong team defense. Don't let shots get to Jones. Just shut this stuff down. Colorado is a very speedy team. Now, the thing about that I did really like about the second period is the Sharks were getting in lanes and interrupting Colorado's flow. The Sharks are doing a great job of that. Not so much in the third, but in the second, they were doing a great job of that. And you kind of probably maybe the guys loosen the grip on the stick a little bit. The shoulders come down a little bit, and it's okay. We can breathe. We got some room. We should. Hey, John, thank you very much, sir.
Wow, thank you.
Wow, the shoulders come down, and you think you got this. Plus, they got their backup in. It's almost like waving the white flag, and I was good with that. And then 10 minutes later, Radil cleans up some garbage from Pavs and Couture, and at that point, you're just kind of like, kicking back a little bit, and maybe we can give some extra time to the fourth line. Maybe that's one of the reasons why Joakim Ryan got as much time as he did tonight, besides the Braun injury. So you kind of loosen up, and then about 16 seconds later, then you started going, uh-oh.
Okay, so we'll pump the brakes on that idea. Jost from Confer at 16:49 makes it 5-2. You're like, okay, 3-goal lead. Sure. No problem at all. And then we started a parade to the penalty box. EK65 goes in with a tripping penalty. Just seemed a little lazy on that part at 17:14. Goodrow would get a penalty at the end of the period to kind of get that momentum swing going, in my opinion, for Colorado as they entered the third.
Absolutely. And The Sharks kill off the start of the third with those 2 minutes, and you're going, okay, we got a little breathing room. We killed off the 2 minutes. Let's go back to what we were doing that was making us successful in the second, and everything was going fine.
Yeah.
For the most part.
And I thought the forwards were coming back with some nice defense. Hurdle broke up a 2-on-1 with a nice stick play. That was awesome. And then from the I wish Ryan Clough was like me, Mikko Rantanen apparently played the puck on the bench, and it was a high stick, mind you, as well. But the face-off would come out to center ice. I'm like, oh, I'm good to see Ryan Close influencing today's younger NHL players. And then 6:54, Dylan, lays the hammer on Comfer, which obviously AJ is going to be a 2-game suspension for Dylan, hands down. I mean, come on.
Hey, he got in his way, man. That's what happens. Have we gotten to that point that interference is a 2-game suspension?
Excuse me. I'm Brendan Shanahan from the National Hockey League Department of Player Safety. On Wednesday night in Colorado, an incident occurred where Brendan Dillon touched an opponent.
Stop it. No, Barry unassisted at 12-12 makes things interesting. Then 14:38, Dillon would interfere with Kerfoot. But Barry, they listed that goal as unassisted. I think that's incorrect. The Sharks defense should have gotten an assist on that because
definitely by Joachim Ryan.
They parted like the Red Sea, and no, that is not a veiled reference to Calgary. It was just I go check the GIF on Teal Town USA's Twitter. It's there. Oh damn. And again, you have all this time. You've got this nice lead to work on team defense, picking up your men, not missing your assignments. And these guys keep making this. Do y'all remember about a month or so ago? Not sure how long it was ago, but remember when they said, hey, we're going to put Steve Spott in charge of the defense? How's that been working out?
Not too bad, but lately, And one thing to add on here tonight as we talk about this, so Colorado gets the last 3 goals of this game, similar to what we saw with Edmonton. Are you kind of concerned about maybe the conditioning and the endurance of this team as we head into the second half?
No, I still see guys moving their legs in the third period. I see them not having it together up here. You saw the other night where Burns is chasing a guy around the ice, not only takes himself, but takes Evander Kane out of the play because it's not playing smart hockey. They're not making smart decisions. The legs are still there, although there was a couple times tonight it looked like Jumbo was a little gassed. Boy, you talk about a guy who can't wait for the All-Star break. But
and Chris makes a good point. Sorry to interrupt, AJ. Don't forget this was at altitude.
Hey, great point. Another great point.
Great point, Chris.
But I still, again, I think, well, hold on. Does the altitude thing, does that mean lack of oxygen to the brain, or is that just breathing? Because I'm telling you, making a couple bonehead, I mean, we're talking stuff that, this is stuff that you don't screw up in preseason, and they're making just silly decisions. I don't get it. Sometimes it makes me feel like if Burns just doesn't have the confidence in who he's partnered up with, and it's like he's having to do too much. He feels like he has to be 2 defensemen instead of 1. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
16:36. After that penalty, Jost on the power play, tipped by Girard and Kerfoot. This is not one you can hang on Jones. This was a beautiful tip in. This is Pavelski-esque. Puck is coming in one way, catches a tip, and immediately right to the other. It looked like it was coming in on the left side, then it shifts to the right. Patrick Waugh, Marty Brodeur, Eddie Belfour on their best days are not making that save. So,
yeah.
Marty McFly, I love you. Let's get Brodie over here. You know what? Go bang on his chat line in YouTube. See if you can't. If you can't, he has the link. See if you can't get him over here.
AJ did send him the link for it, so it'd be fun if he is able to jump on. That'd be awesome if he did. And Brodie's been a really good friend of the show for a number of years. He's
been all right. No, I'm kidding.
Right,
but we always chirp Brodie. For the people talking about that Jones was solid tonight, he looked a little better than we've seen. Still tonight, 886. We did an interview with Drew Remenda the day after the Edmonton game just last weekend. Go check it out on our YouTube channel. And as always, hit the subscribe button, because besides doing this after every single Sharks game, we also have the weekly wrap with the Pucknologist, and we also throw some interviews in there from time to time, like we just did with Drew Remenda. But Drew pointed out, you can't... You're not going to go too far in the playoffs if you're, sub 900 on your save percentage. It's just, it's not going to happen. You got to be the sweet number, 918, 920. It's about where you need to start at. 886 tonight. The guy is doing himself no favors, Erik.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. It's weird. I mean, and he's made those timely saves as we wrap the recap up. I mean, at the end there, when it was 5-4, Colorado was just
they're pouring
killing everybody.
They're pouring it on. They got the empty net. Pavelski loses his stick. So that, that's credit to Jones there in that situation. That was harsh. But either way, the Sharks get a needed victory. Holy hell, did they need a bounce back after that Calgary shellacking?
But I think they would love a dominant victory, but they'll take this one.
Again, like you said, you look at that third period where you give up at the end of the second, but you give up the last 3 goals. That just screams like we took our foot off the gas. We don't know how to close out a game.
Yep.
I mean, dear Lord. And boy, I need to look it up. I think out of the last 7 games, there's only 1 game that the Sharks have not given up a power play goal. So as the power play starts to come together a bit more, the PK is starting to drift off. For quite a while, Sharks power or the penalty kill was floating between 1 and 2. And I don't know, I don't have let me pull up the stats right now. But I can't imagine that it's,
Cheeria. Thank you very much.
Hey, now, hold on. Did that money come from Brodie, or was that? Oh, no, that did come from Jerry F. I wasn't sure where that came from.
I can't hear you. You know what? I just realized something. Hang on.
Okay.
Wait. You know what?
What?
You guys can hear me, right? There's
absolutely.
Oh, perfect. You know what? I realized I clicked on this before. I have 2 different setups. One if I'm streaming, and then I have to change the board over if I'm a guest on something, so that I send you my mic and you don't hear. Whatever. Just
But we understand.
I quickly flipped some switches and we're good.
Hey now,
what's happening, Brodie?
Oh, just live streaming a post-game show that's live, but it's not post-game live.
Right. And I must say, and I'm going to mention this with AJ on here, I love the ode to the angry AJ tree.
He has no idea what that's about, dude.
Yeah, what?
What
are you talking about?
When we first started this show, I used to do it in my living room. And she's like, "Oh my god!" And I would.
You're gonna be so bored by this story.
And I would always have this shrub that I refer to, and when AJ's not. Oh wow!
Nobody cares.
Wow! All right.
But here's the thing: who played that sound effect? Me or AJ? So you don't even know who did it. It could be. Maybe it was me. Maybe it wasn't.
Gosh. Wow. It's
you got that sound effect too?
Absolutely.
I've got that one too.
Well, you know what? We pour one out for Curtis.
Wait, How can you play Sarah McLachlan and not get copyright violated?
Just a little snip. As long as it's just, I think if it's like under 5 seconds, you can get away with it.
We just talked about getting violated and a little snip, right? All in like a 5 second span. Like if somebody tuned in, they're like, where? I mean, and clearly our minds were in good places there. It's just like, we had, is it a double double entendre? Is that a thing?
Yes.
Anyway, sorry, Erik. So
Good.
you were saying something about a fern in your background?
Yeah, I would have, just really quick. The shrub I would use it when AJ wasn't on to fill in, and we called it the angry AJ tree.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
What's the AJ? What's the thing behind? You have like a spotlight behind you now over there?
No, why?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I said AJ. I was looking at I meant to say Erik. Sorry.
No problem.
Oh yeah, I have a little.
You got like the bat signal behind you.
Yeah, I have the little
Look at that
thing.
Oh
yeah.
Man, 21 just for
wow,
Brodie.
John. Wow,
Oh,
thank you so much.
What?
Do you have super chat activated on your stream?
What the hell's that?
Okay, well we're gonna talk off air.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not. I almost said a bad word there. You
You can hear. That's the fun.
No, I can't. You know what? I'm not recorded anywhere saying a bad word, so I don't want to give it.
That you think so. That
YouTube is yanking my chain.
Wow, really?
Yeah, like they don't want to let me in on the whatever. What's it called?
You haven't played monetization?
Well, but whatever they call the creators something, or
creator studio?
No. Whatever, yeah, but it's part of it is the monetization, which honestly, what am I going to make 25 cents off every 14 views I ever get? Like but it's the tools they give you as part of that,
right?
The creator community or something.
Oh, and the cards, the ability to hit your subscriptions and your
exactly.
links.
And that's honestly, that's all I really want. None of us are going to get rich off YouTube. Let's be honest.
Have you thought about playing the "Do you know who I am" card?
Yeah, that get thrown right under the bus there on that one. Here's YouTube's reaction to that. No, actually, okay, you guys want to know? I'd be like, hi, YouTube, it's me, your friend Brodie. Can you guys hook it up?
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
Wouldn't it be more like YouTube if you're watching?
Okay, let's just get back to the point I was making before everything just went to hell in a handbag. 1 and 2, the PK floating around there right now currently is dropped down to 6th. So yeah, the PK kind of trending down, where the power play has trended up a little bit over the last few games. So something to consider. Just saying. I just want to see better team defense. Boys, please, I'm begging you. Brodie, if you're not sure, Gackle did tweet out that Braun did walk off on his own power after the game. So that's good news.
That's good. Well, I mean, he obviously got back out to the bench and tried it for a shift, and that didn't work. But I mean, that's one of those things where I was just saying on my own YouTube channel, like I feel good about it. Like Pete said, everybody feels good that he went out there and tried it, but I don't feel like we're all out of the woods. And you got to understand, guys, that's when the adrenaline is still kicked in. Like, wait until he's on the team plane tonight, flying home, and the knee is like barking. I mean, I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I'm trying to be realistic. Like, don't just because you saw him come back out there for a shift and just because he walked off tonight, it doesn't mean we're all out of this yet. I could easily miss a game or two on the conservative side.
That's what I was pointing at, is that you can hear the lower body injury stuff or whatever. The Sharks are obviously not going to divulge much, but there could be they could divulge a little bit if you see somebody like Nick DeSimone get called up for Tampa.
Well, and I also think too, I mean, there's never, in recent years, there hasn't been a time like this where the Sharks have so many available D-men, so many NHL-ready D-men, right? So, I mean, between Ryan and Heed and Šimek all of a sudden, and, not to mention the 6 that were kind of already there, or the 5 other ones that were already there, starting the season. So, like, it's not a bad time for San Jose if they were to miss one of them, but now to be missing 2 of them, and Šimek and potentially Braun, and 2 ones that you like them all, but you just don't want to see this happen. So
not at all. And again, we also have to point out the fact that both Erik Karlsson and Burns essentially played half the game tonight. You cannot sustain that. You cannot sustain those minutes.
Yeah.
But
you know what? I was just I didn't realize, guys. Everybody was asking about. I'm just looking at my phone here. Everybody was asking about the late start on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I had no clue it was for the college football media day. I didn't put that together until just now. So.
Well, God, who? Well, I know that when we had found out, it all kind of came together. Like when the schedule came out, it also came out that it was Owen Nolan bobblehead day. So you see the half hour later start. You see that it's Nolan bobblehead. A lot of speculation. Plus, we're hosting the All-Star game. Plus, Owen Nolan called his shot in the last one. There was a little speculation saying that this might be like the best time that maybe Nolan's going to get his number retired. And so it was like, yeah, no, that's never going to happen. And finally, I think the Sharks did put it out at some point, like in the last month or so, saying, I think Jonathan Becker might have tweeted it out a couple times, saying,
got it.
It's no biggie, but boy, you really got to feel for the fans in Tampa Bay on that night.
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock Eastern start. Actually, if you're gonna do it to an opponent, do it to an Eastern team, right? Be like, yeah, you guys are staying up. You guys are starting at 11 p.m. But that's you guys know this, I think, too. That pretty much every professional athlete, they maintain throughout their season a Pacific time zone body clock. So it tripped me out the first time I was ever on a baseball road trip with the A's. I don't know, it was in the early to mid 2000s. And we got back to the hotel in, I don't know, whatever Eastern city we were in, maybe Boston or I don't know, somewhere. And all of a sudden the players we'd all just been at the ballpark, we'd take the bus back to the hotel and they just get right out in the lobby and get cabs out to go out. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what? It's 11:30 p.m. And then I realized they can't afford to have their bodies be on Eastern time zone because they'll get tired during home games, so that's, and I'm not even saying like Sharks players, they're not irresponsibly going out late and stuff, but I mean, they will stay up in their hotel room.
Hold on, what are you trying to say about Sharks players?
No, because the moment I say, yeah, the Sharks are staying up till 3 a.m. when they go out east. Well, that might be true, but I would imagine a lot of times it's like literally just laying there in the bed watching the iPad or something. They're not going out; they're just staying up until
I don't know.
super late hours.
Might need to hack into some videos from some Uber cabs. I'm just saying.
I've been there. I've been there. The only idiots staying out that late are the broadcasters. What? I'm one of them. I'm usually the one that they're like, oh, hey, Brodie's with us. Let's make sure we have a good time with him. I'm usually the problem of this.
And you've done like a post game live, if I'm not mistaken, like an 18-inning game.
Yeah, I think
I remember a game in the Coliseum that went like 18 innings and like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
not too long ago.
The longest I remember saying, because we said it at the beginning of the show, it was the longest baseball game at the Coliseum, like 5 hours and 45 minutes or something like that. And I got to tell you, like, it's just any baseball just going naturally 3.5 hours. It's already a longer work day for me, but when so many things happen over 5 hours and 45 minutes, it's like your brain gets mushy at about the 4.5 hour mark, and if that's whether the game's long, whether there's a rain delay in there or whatever, but like, it's hard to start recounting things with precision when they happened 4 hours ago, and like 50 other things happen in between. So
I just want to see your notepad for that game.
Oh, it's, and the thing is so everybody
scroll.
Well, in baseball, it's easy. I mean, I keep, there's a standardized method of keeping score in baseball, or a pretty standardized method. I mean, I do it like I probably am as normal about it. Some people have their quirks, but in hockey, there's not really a way specifically to like keep score.
Yes, there is. I digress.
Is that okay? So you've got to, but see, everybody's got it so differently. I mean, I'm sure we're all tracking the same things. Like I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I'm usually doing penalties. I'm obviously doing with every goal. I need to know when it was scored. Obviously, who scored it, what goal that is for them this season, who set it up, if it was on the power play or shorthanded, or what the situation was.
Not only that, but I typically, I drew out my little diagram, so I'll actually like jot down the number of the goal and where it was scored.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
Let me see Pavelski. Let me see Pavelski on that left dot tonight. Let me see the Ovechkin spot. Where is he? There.
That's right up there. Right in
Oh,
there.
wait, what does that say? 11 there though. Wait, what?
It says what? It says 1. It's there. It's,
their first goal.
Their first goal. Okay.
Yeah,
I see what you did. Okay.
So
I was looking for 8. I got it.
Oh yeah, no. So first goal, and then you can see like 3, 4, and 5. Because they were all, like Kane was down there, the wrapper from Donskoy, the shot from Radil, those all came, within 5 feet of Kane's was a little further up, but yeah.
Do you have like Erik's phone number on there too? Just like do you want to write? Let's let the internet have Erik's phone number.
Oh, great.
Let's write. Or Erik, let's write AJ's phone number down.
No, where's your voicemail on there?
Oh, that's easy. Wait, I always give the wrong number though. It's
Oh, no.
I did the first time I gave somebody else's phone number.
Oh man. Well, hold on. Can you put your graphics up too? Can you also put
I can't.
It's on OBS though.
Yeah, I can't because I'm not. Yeah, and that's the other thing. When I turned this on, I didn't know if because it's going through my DSLR, main camera here, but I didn't know if it was going to pop up on the laptop webcam over here, and I just wanted to make sure the audio was. But apparently, it's like you guys hear me through this mic, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So because I didn't set any of that, it just automatically chose these settings. So yeah, because OBS is closed for me right now.
Did you get the plug for the DSLR?
Oh, and you know what? My battery's been in there for about an hour and a half. So I'm waiting to go black on you guys. Like I'm waiting for it to just.
Oh no!
You'll still hear the audio, and I'll just have to get up and change the battery real fast. But yeah, the AC charger for this camera is like $140.
Oh.
Dude, the one I sent you was like 10.
Yeah, but that's not for this camera though. That's for that doesn't this camera. The main ones I use. I can't go cheap. I want to, trust me. I would love to.
You know what though? That does explain a lot because when I was using my corded one, it generally works, but I remember we were doing one specific shot and everything was working fine for about 25 minutes and then all of a sudden just black screen.
You know what? Don't trust. I can say this from being in TV for 20 years and we use batteries on, the big TV cameras. Generally they use batteries. And I used to, my first couple years in TV, I was heavily using a beta cam back then with some old school batteries, but batteries always poop out on you when you think you're like, oh, this thing will go forever. And then all of a sudden the battery the life isn't good or it's cold and that affects it. Or
this was
wireless mics are another one that they just crap out at the worst times.
No, this is the thing that I sent you where it plugs where it was running off an AC outlet.
That's what I'm saying. Like if I hate the fact that there's a battery in this camera right now.
Oh,
like I hate batteries. Like I learned if I can hardwire anything, I will.
Yeah.
And I would say wireless stuff too. Like over the years, some stuff, or when I used to do all the ringside interviews, it was all wireless. Like my ear pack was wireless and the mic was wireless, but especially at visiting rinks, like you'd walk in the wrong spot and all of a sudden, just as they're tossing to you, it's like, and let's go. And I'm like, am I on? Oh, hi. I can't tell you how many times that one's happened. Right as you're getting tossed to, you lose it. So,
well, it's probably better than a Burnsy cup check or something.
Oh, jeez.
Burnsy cup check. So you can hear that too. Okay, good.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't sure that I had switched everything over.
That's the only thing that's bummed me out about me getting rid of that little mini board that I had, that I lost my effects where I would even do the I can't remember the name of the effect, but you can drop the octave of it so you sound like a monster, where it's
This is my favorite one. I like talking like a robot. Hello, Teal Town.
It's hard to use that effect and not start talking like this just from when you hear it.
Right.
I am Jonas Donskoy. I score goals and do the robot.
Oh my God. Okay,
Oh,
we
goodness.
should probably
Let's-
talk
let's-
about Tampa Bay coming up.
No. We should play with more effects here, but that was called
we got.
vibrato.
I'll just say
Like,
this.
you know what? I have no problem losing them subscribers. That's why I'll do it here instead of on my
Right.
own channel.
I'm trying out material on your guys' show.
Oh,
Brodie
this is
premiering
like
at the San Jose Improv next weekend.
yeah. No, this is like this is like Sarah Silverman showing up at like open mic night at
Okay.
Tuesday at 2 a.m.
Can we? Is it 10? It's 10:20 right now. Can we? You guys want to stay on till midnight?
I dare you.
Midnight.
I'm down. I don't have to work tomorrow, so that I could go till midnight.
Midnight.
Wow.
No way it happened. I'm sure Jessica is like, if there were hearts right now, I would be hitting all of them.
How do you guys find, by the way, like you guys could go live on, you guys have a Twitter account because I see your Twitter promoting your YouTube. Why do you do YouTube versus like Twitter and Periscope?
Because OBS is the bane of my existence. When you try to use, I can get it to work pretty well when it's just two people. Once I have to bring in a third person, it all goes right down the toilet, unfortunately. And I have Skype, two different. I'm bringing them both people. Yeah, exactly. Both of them coming in on Skype. Got this audio program called Loopback to bring in their audio, and it's just. I don't know if it just overtaxes my system. It's worked a couple times, but
and like Chris said, Twitter didn't have live when we started.
So you guys started on YouTube, and that's where you built it, and that's where you want to.
Yep.
Yeah, I understand that.
But the whole thing is that, I mean, obviously, we could use OBS and live stream to YouTube or to Facebook or whatever,
or to Twitter. You could do it on that. You could. I've done it right to Periscope. You guys could do. I was just curious why.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I have way more people that would see like tonight what I did if I did it on Periscope. But I decided, you know what, for once, like let's just see if it translates on Twitter or on YouTube, and let's see how many people actually watch it, what it looked like. Like I can bump the video quality for me in this setup. I can do way better on YouTube than Twitter. So
yeah, and there's been a couple times when if it's just me, like. If it's like a national game, I know you guys aren't going to be doing a Twitter mission or something where I might jump on. And when it's like that, yeah, I'll use OBS and I'll just do it that because when it's just me, looks great.
Hey, am I going to see you guys at the All-Star game stuff? Like, are you going to Fan Fest and
I want to go to the Fan Fair and I want to do the
Fan
skills,
Fair, excuse me.
Yeah, and I want to do the skills competition.
Yeah.
So what's the market like? How do you guys like? Do you have tickets or how does that work?
I don't have tickets yet.
And trust me, if I had like a way to backdoor and hook up some people, you guys would be among the first. But honestly, like it's such a league event. It's not even a Sharks event, really. You know,
Gary Bettman, if you're watching, Brodie, like it'd be greatly appreciated.
Great question from Steve in the chat. Will Sharks alumni be there? If Owen Nolan isn't there, it's a friggin' travesty.
Yeah, I mean, I think all the local alumni, you know, all the regulars you would expect to be around.
City, Hannon, Boiler.
Yeah. Okay, don't even mention Curtis.
Well, I figured that was fait accompli. Well, he might be working.
No, we're not. We don't want him around. No, he's good. He's off the hook.
Well, are you going to be doing some sort of like Shark Central segment for this?
I think we're going to shoot a whole episode of that show and just base it around the All-Star weekend and base it around the Sharks, hopefully 4 of them who are so basically hopefully I can do a whole show on Logan Couture, right? Like that's what I really want to do. What do you guys sorry, I know I'm taking you guys way longer.
You're good.
No, good, dude. We got nothing but time right now.
What do you guys think about that? What do you think about what do you guys think about first off, I saw a lot of conversation about Carlson being in. I have some thoughts on that. I'll share them if you want.
Go ahead.
But what do you think about him being in, and what do you think about Logan being the last man candidate for the Sharks?
Carlson, I'll be honest. If it was judged on his first 20 games, I would have been like, "Wow, the league is kissing some butt," or like something is off. This is not right. But based on his last 20 games, and like I pointed out earlier, the fact that that he went 8 games and had 10 points, where the closest Sharks were Bernsey with 8 points. I think Hurdle had 7 points. And over that, Carlson had 10 points, and he missed 2 of those games from suspension. So
he's on an 11-game point streak right now too. Like if you don't think he's feeling it now, like if the eye test didn't show it before, like the stats definitely are now.
Yeah.
What if he's a point per game player like nearly the entire second half? Does he end up with like 60 points and everybody like, are we cool with that? Are we good? Like, you know what I mean?
I'm fine with that. The thing that I've always had an issue with this, and tell me if I'm wrong, it's the idea of the All-Star game happening in the middle of the season, like it does for hockey, like it does for baseball. I've just seen it too many times where a guy has an electric 6 weeks, gets on the ballot, and by the time the All-Star game comes around, he's completely gone off the cliff, and the rest of the season is horrible. And yet he was an all-star that year. You know what I mean?
The one thing that always and I say this about baseball stuff too, is like, are we saying that the second half of any season doesn't account for any all-star game? Are we looking back at Erik Karlsson over the body of the last 12 calendar months? Or are we saying it's only about the first half of this season? Or are you looking at him right now and saying, all right, this guy is ramping into this, and or are you flat out saying this is the NHL choosing a popularity contest and he fits our mold quite nicely, so you're in? I mean, look, here's my thoughts on it regarding Karlsson. I'm not surprised at all. Like, his name was on my radar, but I also agree with you guys in that if he didn't turn it on here in the last couple of weeks, I would have thought, all right, maybe he wouldn't be part of this. Maybe the last couple of weeks, cemented him in on it, but. It's not a shock to me, but I also I didn't know I wasn't positive he would be there. It was definitely not a sure thing. Burns was a sure thing for me. Pavelski was essentially a lock. After that, had a lot of questions. Like, I believe Logan should be in there. And actually, how about this? Why wouldn't the league put Logan in and make Karlsson the vote? In thinking that Karlsson's going to command more of a popularity contest than maybe Logan can,
And what's interesting is that they have the 2 defensemen from the Sharks, and that's the only division team that has 3 defensemen all ready to go.
Right.
Which is really interesting. And
what is it? Is it Doughty? Oh, there you go. Look at you. Look at you guys.
Dude, there was a 5. I think there was about a 5-game stretch there. Maybe like mid-October through Thanksgiving or whatever. I thought Timo Meier was making a push.
And
exactly.
He's on my auxiliary too, but to me, it's like 8 and 88 are in. I thought 39. I mean, and again, I'll go back to last season. Your team leader in goals. One of your vocal and verbal leaders of the team this season, as well as, on the stat sheet. So, and Logan's also been an all-star before, was chosen last in that, little shindig.
Car?
Yeah, well, that's right. I think he gave it to his brother, but I don't know. The all-star game, and I also saw like criticism of the all-star game in the last couple of days. And I think part of it was too, like, that Ovi's bowing out. And
you think Crosby follows suit?
I worry. Okay, so like, I feel like Ovechkin doing it makes it so that everybody else can't do it, because if it becomes a trend, then it's a conversation, and then it's like, none of you guys want to play in this, huh? Oh, okay, I see how it is, and then there's tension between the PA and the league, and all. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a league event. This is like, hey, players, star players, we need you. Come on, let's go.
Do you think the penalty should be more severe? Like, instead of missing the game before, the game after, you should miss both of those?
Yeah, I mean, if you're Ovi and you really wanted to smooth it over, I twisted my ankle in the last game, and
injury.
Lie about it, right? Like, have the all-star flu or something. But so, I mean, I have to respect his honesty, I guess. And he's also creating an opportunity for somebody else to get in there and captain the division, and also just flat out play in the game. So I don't know. I guess I have to respect him being honest. But you guys know what I'm saying, right? Like if this is a trend, this is kind of like star college football players deciding, yeah, I'm not going to play in that bowl game. Well, I'm going to play. You're telling me I'm going to play one more game and jeopardize the $40 million I'm about to get in the NFL. Like that's a dangerous trend because as soon as it goes away, it's not coming back.
Well, isn't that kind of like one of the reasons why they moved the Pro Bowl out of Hawaii and back onto the mainland? Because a lot of players were like going, I don't want to make the trip.
Partially, and they also put it right before the Super Bowl, right in the off week,
Right.
And that was because like after people watch the Super Bowl, it's kind of like they're like they're not. No, football's done, right? Like stop,
Do you think
you know that nobody that's going to be in the Super Bowl is going to be in
that game?
Yeah,
but you also know that, especially in football, who is going hard in that game anyway?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, in the All-Star tournament, let's not even call it a game. Like what you're going to see, if you're lucky enough to go to SAP Center on that Saturday, what you're going to see is extreme skill. You're not going to see any defense, and you're not going to see any physicality. But that's fine. At least they're offering you that extreme skill. Like, what can you say they're offering you in a Pro Bowl?
Well,
yeah,
nothing in that regard. But do you remember? And I don't know if it's the last time that happened. I bet Erik knows. Was Nabby the last goal? Because typically, for the longest time they would send 3 goalies. Each one would play a period,
right?
And I thought Nabby was like the first goalie in forever to actually shut out his 20 minutes.
It's been a while.
I can't think of a goalie that's done that since Nabby.
No, I'm sure there has been here and there, but the Nabby one is always remembers just because he just pissed off Kovalchuk so many times on the breakaway.
What, Erik? What kind of mic you working with there? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about your setup.
Literally just got that.
I literally just got this for my birthday. An Audio Technica.
Is that a 2020?
Yeah.
Nice. Look at you.
Yes.
With the boom arm and everything.
Yep. And a Scarlett. All I need is my internet connection to work a lot better, and these guys won't make fun of me ever again.
Yeah, like
quality.
wouldn't go.
Tell me if I'm using this right. Erik is low key right now, professional studio in his setup. He's got the backlight, he's got the shark. So what is that? How do you get that thing going?
It's actually a light bulb.
Yeah, it's just a gobo.
Yeah.
Oh, good knowledge. Wow. Like that's insider TV knowledge. Calling it a gobo. Like that's.
I know a little bit more than I let on. Some.
Do you know what a C-47 is?
Is that a plane?
I was just gonna say
this is a C. Can you guys see this? This is a C-47. It's a clothespin. Like honestly, in TV, on your first day of a production shoot, they'll be like, "Hey, pass me a C-47," just to mess with you. And if you don't know that it's this, they're like, "This guy's an idiot."
Yeah. My question about Ovi.
Hang on, I gotta go 2 mics here. I really gotta make sure you can hear me.
Oh my Lord.
Can you tell I obsess about this stuff?
Tell me you get a 2-for-1 discount on the Rode booms.
Right?
Lots of boom arms. No, it's too many mics. I set this up so I could have a guest come in here and do podcasts.
All right, well, let me know when I need to be there.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, but there's only one mic. What am I gonna do?
Oh, AJ's far away. I live nearby.
That's true.
Yeah, but I know what a gobo is.
Whichever one you guys can get here fast enough. Well, actually, though, I mean, I guess considering that you'll be sitting on each other's lap, I mean, I guess the one mic. Why is that even? Wow. That's not even funny. That's just that's just inappropriate, is what that is.
This is After Dark.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, wait a second. Are you guys paying Randy Hahn rights for that? Come on.
No, he owns Late Night Confidential. We can use After Dark.
And for us, it's not keep it real, keep it fresh, or keep it fresh, keep it real fresh. It's keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal.
Oh man!
So
you guys are ripping Honor. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So if you want tickets for the skills competition, the cheapest seat that I just found on Ticketmaster is $160. For the game the next night, the cheapest seat I'm finding right now is $278. on top of fees and all that stuff. But I upped my Shark Pack to a half season this year, mainly for the All-Star game. So I'm already in.
Aren't the Sharks still doing that? There's some sort of promotion where you buy like 3 games and you get access to some All-Star ticket package?
You get access to the fanfare.
That's what it is.
Yep.
I got to tell you guys, I feel for the Sharks in a sense that, you know, they get to host this, but really it's kind of like, I guess Winter Classics are that way too. Like, was that technically a home game for the Hawks, I guess?
Technically, yeah.
So, I mean, you know, that franchise has no set. They literally show up and do what the NHL says. It was the same thing at Levi Stadium. And when you get to the Stanley Cup final, by the way, and the same thing happens in the baseball playoff. So this is not the NHL being the only one. It's like the league takes over. And so the home team is like, yeah, but we have people to take care of. And we want to like make sure all our fans, you know, get the slice of this they want. And it's just a league event. So I feel bad for the Sharks. They can't, you know, they're doing as much as they can to try and, you know, get everybody a taste of this. And, you know, it only comes around once every so often. So, but it's just such a league dominated thing. You know,
I just wanted to know who at the NHL ruined and ran out of food at the first intermission and out of beer during the second period at the Winter Classic. How do you pull that off?
Did that happen?
Yeah. Oh, it was all over that. Yeah. The Winter Classic, they said they were out of food by the first intermission. And then I think about 12 minutes left in the second, they were out of beer.
See, I mean, like that they play. Okay. So the beer thing I might understand, because do they serve beer at Notre Dame football games? Maybe not.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not sure all college stadiums do, but the food thing I don't understand, because they fill that stadium regularly. You think they would have a pretty good expectation of like how hungry everybody is.
Well, and you know, you make a good point, because if I remember correctly, there are parts of Indiana that are dry on Sundays to this day.
I go to Indiana typically once a year in the summer for a family vacation, little lake house action. It's not far from South Bend, and you're absolutely right. It's a different Sunday, and a lot of parts out there don't even think about the bottle.
Nope.
I'm thinking about the bottle, but you don't think.
Yeah. No, I hate to break it to you. I am
typically a wine bottle, by the way, is what I'm thinking about. I'm just keeping it classy over here, but you know.
I'm a born Hoosier.
You're born in Indiana?
Yes, sir.
Really? What part?
Fort Wayne, so up north.
Really?
Yep. I don't remember anything about it because I've been in California since I was 2.5. But other than that,
Erik, you can kind of see what's wrong with him now, right?
Yeah.
Kind of see it.
But then again, I was born in the middle of Berkeley, so you know.
Oh no, that's you're.
Oh,
You're
no
good.
problem. I mean, it's not, you're no Austin Matthews, but hey, it's all
That's right. Ceremony native Austin.
I didn't realize Austin Matthews and my son were born in the same hospital. I mean, there's only one hospital in San Ramon, so they must have been born in the same place. And then, like, when did Forsland end up saying Long Beach native?
Oh yes, yeah.
Did somebody tell him to say that? They had to have, right?
Randy had to have texted him and said, "No, you need to get the Long Beach reference."
Well, I think a lot of our crew was on the technical side of the game tonight, because they were still, you know, like they still use a lot of our people many times for the national broadcast, even if it's not the announcers. So I'm wondering if somebody said, "Hey, can you just say this real fast?"
There's some pork grip from San Jose being run around.
There's our fans would really like it if you would just say Long Beach native Matt Nieto.
Well, hey, if he dropped, you know, a Desert Dogs reference, then it's all over.
See, I gotta get a dog. Oh, good. Oh, that's right. Drink.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You said it.
I think I have a dog barking noise on here. Oh! Oh, the internet's so slow. So stupid.
No, and before anybody says Brodie is not using my internet tonight, so
yeah. Well, so do you? So okay, but I'm like, my web stuff is hardwired, but the iPad is trying to use Wi-Fi, and it's not.
Yeah.
Your device couldn't connect to the server. There may be a problem with the server or network.
I want to thank you for this, by the way, Brodie, for the heads up on this app, because it's pretty choice.
What's that?
This, do you not recognize it?
Oh yeah. That's the same one I use. Forget what it's called. iJingle.
Yeah, no, good. I was using, I forget the other one, but I was using, this is much better. I really like how you can set all the volumes.
You can do like ducking and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, how many people are watching this, by the way?
54. We are boring 54 people right now.
So if we're like the Sharks' next game against the Desert Dogs.
Oh, well, but before we talk about the next game, there's something that we've neglected to do.
Oh, yes.
Have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
Oh, jeez.
What? Oh, I mean, what?
Yeah, we have to reach around the league and talk about the other games that happened tonight.
No, it's the NHL wrap around.
Call it what you want, buddy.
You know, it's funny. My camera battery is about to die in like half a second. All of a sudden.
Okay, I'm going to blow through this really fast.
Please, camera die. Please die.
No.
That's so wrong. All right, Canucks 4-3 over the Senators. Oh man, Pettersson with the hat trick. Think this kid wants to go to the All-Star game in a big way?
He scored 3 of their 4.
Yeah,
yes, sir. He scored the all natural, the final 3.
He was naked.
Wow.
Natural hat trick. I'm sorry, I just didn't know what you meant by that. Yeah, no, he's you know what? It's like, as good as everybody thought Besser was, and he still is, like Pettersson just came in and I mean, I'm telling you, I like Vancouver. And I also, as much as I hate Calgary right now,
right. And I've never been a fan of Vancouver since 2011.
Oh yeah.
Once that Stanley Cup playoff run, and especially during the Bruins. I don't know if you remember, like game 1, Vancouver barely wins 3-2. The next game, Vancouver barely wins 2-1. And on post game, TSN 1040 in Vancouver, fans were literally calling up saying, we should let Boston win one so we can win it in 5 at home. The hubris.
You know, 2 things I remember about that season is the night the Sharks got eliminated off that Bieksa goal, right? And then so I don't even remember who I was with, but a bunch of us went to go out and just get
tanked,
hammered. Because we're like, oh, hell with this. And, you know, like Vancouver they were fine. Like nobody was, the Green Men, remember them? They were cool as hell.
Those were funny.
But so we were but man, Vancouver, like downtown, I forget the name of the street that's super popular. Everything's on that Burrard. No, I don't know. Anyway, like people were up till like 4 a.m, and we were out pretty late too. But it's like, and like they were like standing on top of their cars, driving, like they were car surfing down the street. I'm like, you guys you love this a little bit too much, right?
Well,
and then remember they rioted when they lost.
Oh, that was awful.
But that's the key thing is let them win one. And I don't know if you remember, but game 3, Boston won like 8-2 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a drubbing.
Be careful what you ask for.
Mm-hmm. But no, you want to talk about insane. No, I remember like the Red Mile in 2004 up in Calgary. Oh, the photos. There was like a website, the Red Mile, and it just looked like a nonstop party up there. And in fact, I didn't. Oh, go ahead. I was just going to say, you're somebody who would appreciate this. I think it was a radio station up there. You remember around that time, 2004, a very, very popular song at the time was In the Club from 50 Cent. And somebody redid the track and it was as In the Dome. And it's hysterical.
And how off key and tempo was the person rapping that? They're like,
it was actually,
"Go Kipper, it's your birthday."
No, it almost. There was one part that was a little silly, but it was funny because it was like, "You can find me in the dome, chilling with Jerome," and because with the Ginla and everything. It was pretty funny. If I find it, I'll send it to you. It was actually really funny.
Geez.
Speaking of which, the hated Flames victorious 5-3 over the Red Wings tonight. Well, okay. The one good thing I guess you can say is there was somebody named Brodie that scored tonight.
Yes, there you go.
I like when TJ Brodie plays against the Sharks because I like Randy having to say, and Brodie does this or that, and I'm like, yeah, I know you're thinking about me. Well, you know what's funny is it's pretty crazy. Like ever since I got into hockey, on the 31st of December, that's my first game actually that I've ever watched. I've enjoyed the last couple of days, like becoming an expert on hockey. Apparently. That's what Calgarians think, that I've only seen 2 hockey games now. So wow. I've enjoyed my time. I've learned so much in the last 72 hours.
I love that some Canadian anchor dude who has like 300 followers is trying to chirp you.
I'll say this here too, because you guys, I mean, if you've followed me long enough, you know I don't really go after people. It's not my thing. Like
I don't chirp at all.
I'll take like I absorb so much of it because
he does it on air live to Curtis.
Well, yeah, I'll chirp Curtis because he's in the flesh. Like that's full fair game. But my point is like people come after me all the time on this and that, and sometimes it's like friendly fire too. You know, it's like somebody in your own fan base who just didn't like what you said or they don't like you, and that's the thing as a broadcaster, you realize like you're not everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. If you have a 980 batting average, if that many people like you, you're doing great. And I don't know that I have that or not, but I'm just saying. But when it's somebody in your own like field, and I don't know what this guy's like a news anchor, it's like a Ron Burgundy. Yeah. I don't like he should understand the trolling and like how people in our business we don't like, we have to deal with it, but it's not a fun thing. So when he comes after me like that, and I was tweeting about the game and about a play, and it had nothing to do with him. Like I didn't like, dude, this guy jumped in my pool and made it personal. Like this guy jumped in my pool and peed in the water. So of course I'm going to say something. And again, you know, it's funny. People are like, I didn't know you retaliated. I'm like, yeah, I know, I really don't. But in this opportunity, like something had to be said. I'm sorry. Like that's, you know, fans are going to be fans and passionate and say what they want, and anonymous people and whatever. But when you're a dude who like represents a media outlet and has got a check mark and all that stuff and acting all official, and that's how you're going to come at me. Yeah. You know, I decided I wasn't going to say anything unless I could also make it a little bit humorous too. Right. Yeah. Like I'm not going to go full expletives on them.
It was Bush League. It was Bush. Penguins 7-2 over the Rangers. Oh, Lundqvist just pulled the ripcord already. 5-4 the Stars over the Devils. Again, Jamie Benn got leveled. I'm sure we'll hear Jim Light say something about that tomorrow.
No suspension, by the way.
Of course not.
The people in Calgary told me that was a clean hit, and you can't admire your pass. You cannot admire your pass.
Don't do it. Especially when there's only 30 seconds left in a game and like
22 or 25, I think, when he got hit. That was ridiculous. That was the other thing. That is so ridiculous. Like a 3-goal game, 25 seconds left. You're admiring your pass.
Yeah, give me a break. Sagan clearly barking his way out of Jim Light's doghouse, scoring twice tonight.
And got a goal.
Yeah. Heiskanen. Hey now. That boy, man, that kid's fun to watch. And then finally, the Oil get a win. You know, I would consider voting in Draisaitl for last man in, but I don't know that he'll be with the Oilers by the time the All-Star game comes with Chiarelli the way he's running. I'm just saying.
And Draisaitl got a goal. Connor McDavid with 2 in the 3-1 win over the Desert Dogs.
Oh, you said it.
Cheers.
Hey now.
You can't say Draisaitl and then crack a beer. That's just not, you know. No, seriously. Can we just take this time to tell everybody to like make sure Logan gets in?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the voting starts tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. NHL.com/vote. You can vote up to 10 times per day. So
and can we not with that? Just one vote per account. Hey. What is this 10 times per day? It's just artificially inflating numbers. So silly.
I just don't like votes. It's, you know, you think about the league and all the stuff they do. Like, so they just came out honestly with an all-star team of their own, basically. Like they let the fans vote in the captains, and they're going to let the fans vote in the final 4 players, but they just chose everybody else with no like
thank you, John Scott.
Reason.
Thank you, John Scott.
Well, yeah, they're like, no, we're taking control of this. And then they also don't like, we're also going to tell you if that was a clean hit or not too. And we're also going to tell you like when Ty Ratty scores a goal that, oops, actually Connor McDavid was the guy who scored a goal, even though the officials were reviewing if Ty Ratty scored it. Like they're like pulling the blanket over all of us. I mean, like, nope, you didn't see that. Nope.
It is so funny you bring that
stupid.
up. I talked to Drew Remenda the day after that game versus Edmonton, and I asked him about the and it's this really cool bald dude who's up in Canada. But I talked to him and I asked him about that. And he goes, they go back and look at that. And I got the producer in my ear going, who got that goal? Well, they're giving it to McDavid. And he goes, well, why they review it for Ratty? He goes, I don't know. Like nobody knew what was going on up there.
Well, I remember we were talking about covering the intermission segment, and I was talking to my producer, and we're like, yeah, we're going to look at the Ratty goal. And I was like, no, but Connor McDavid scored it. Or that's it. And we're like, no, wait, but wait, Ratty, what? So then we took some realization of when they sent the email out, the NHL sends us this email, which, by the way, they say don't repeat this to anybody. Everybody does. That's like saying, hey, here's what happened for your information only. Put it in your own words. No, I'm going to read exactly what you said. Right? You're the authority. I don't want to be the middleman here.
Oh, hey, speaking of which, do you now I know I believe national game, at least hockey night in Canada. Are you going to be broadcasting the Senators game on the 12th from the tank?
I think so.
Then guess what?
From SAP? No, we're actually in the studio. I'm seeing here.
Oh, I would make.
We are doing the game.
I would make a request to go down to the tank because the bald one will be here.
Yep.
Really?
And he's calling the game for hockey night in Canada.
Yeah. Yep.
Real? They let that guy?
It's a Saturday game. What are you going to do?
Is he going to drop a critical moment of the game? Is he also going to say it's impossible to leave your feet? You cannot leave your feet. It's not fit. What does your feet fall off? Or also he used to get so hot.
Head on a swivel.
Batting a puck out of midair. He's like, well, where's low air and where's high air? Like, what's midair? Like, why is it midair? Or the other one was hand-eye coordination. He would always do it on purpose. He'd be like, it's eye-hand coordination because your eyes control your hands. All right. You're eventually going to probably talk to him again, right?
I would hope between now and January 12th. Yes.
All right. You gotta find out. Well, I mean, do this on an interview. Don't waste this for just conversation. Ask him why his shoes look so perfectly uncreased. Why his shoes don't seem to have any wrinkles. Ask him if it's possible to iron a pair of shoes.
Oh no.
Uh-huh. And don't tell him, just leave it at that. Just don't say where you got it from, just say, hey, is it possible to, like, I'm just wondering, like, dress shoes. You have impeccably fashioned dress shoes. And I'm wondering, like, would it be possible that an iron might get them so wrinkle free?
Right now, I want to know what the hell was going on behind the scenes 5-6 years ago.
Our old little broadcast office was awesome.
Gonna say it looked like it was about big. I remember walking through there once, and
it's as tiny as this little home studio I have here. Yeah, there's like 4 of us sitting like on each other's laps, basically.
It was like 2 cubicles or something.
Pretty much. Yeah, no, it was before the days of Periscope. But man, if we could have Periscoped some of that, oh boy. Well, we'd all be working for the Edmonton Oilers.
See, that's the thing that bums me out is that Twitter, like Periscope, and all, was not a thing when Late Night Confidential was a thing.
Oh man!
You know what's crazy is I brought that's when you remember flip cameras.
Mm-hmm.
I still have one.
Do you really?
Mine.
Yeah, well, I got it for free because Cisco bought them and they handed us all one because they knew they weren't going to be around much longer.
Oh, that's dirty. Flip cameras had just come out and maybe like a couple months earlier, and I got one, and I remember thinking, wow, it's so cool. This thing, it's like, whatever big. it shoots HD video. Oh, wow. Like, okay, like this thing shoots 4K video now.
Okay.
And so I brought it up to Denver. That was like the first playoff series. It was 2010, right?
2010.
That was that was my first season. It was first playoffs I was covering, and I brought it. And actually, well, Randy had been talking about it. He's like, I got this idea. I was thinking about doing it in the hotel room. He's like, and I was like, oh, dude, I've got it. I've got the perfect thing. I got a camera that can shoot it. We'll put it on YouTube. Done. He's like, yeah, bring it. So he like fully, he was into it, orchestrating it. It's like, all right,
we have to have the right robes.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, and for his, okay, this was not like a whim of the moment type setup. Like I remember getting the phone call, like, okay, Brodie, we're ready. Okay. So
we've set backgrounds and
we're like room 312. I'm like, okay, I'll be there in 5 minutes.
We've done shot blocking. We're ready to go.
Walk down. The robes are all laid out. Like everything, the magazines are all placed. And I'm like, wow, this is like you're ready. You really are ready to go. And then we're talking about how we're going to move the camera and get all the shots and stuff. And then, yeah, it was fully orchestrated. And it was crazy because like at that time, I mean, those things got like instantly 10,000 views on YouTube, and like YouTube in 2010 was like, you know, 100 views might be. I don't know how that caught on so quickly back then, but
anyway. The only thing that would have made it cooler is, like you were saying, for your phone now you can shoot ridiculous 4K video, but they also make gimbals now. Could you imagine having a gimbal at that point?
I have one. I have the Ronin. Yeah, but to your point, yeah, like you could. Well, it could be super smooth, or like we didn't have like the audio on those flip cams was terrible. Like if Bakes was talking like 90 degrees to the left, you couldn't even hear him. I had to like put it right in his face. But yeah, no, I mean it would be a totally different game.
They even gave them a graphic. Look at that. They gave them a graphic. That was
I know.
Fantastic.
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember that.
And the designer of that graphic is really awesome.
That's great. I love
Did your Sharks do that?
No, I did that.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, jeez.
No, you know, it's funny, and I'm sure you guys have heard rumblings about the true story of all that is it just got so complicated. And I don't want to get into personal details, but it got so complicated of like who would do it, where, how, where would it be seen, and like everybody, because it was so loved so fast. Sometimes things can get too good for their own good, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of the issue there.
Well, it was only supposed to be a playoff thing on the road, right?
Yeah, and I think like we probably, but see, that's the thing is like then everybody was thinking, oh, well, we should do this all the time. But yeah, then but then there was a conversation like it loses it when it's, and really it should only be we did some at home, I think, and it's just never the same because like the hotel room is so awesome. Like the hotel room with robes, and it's like just the 3 or 4 of us or whatever, you know, like that's the whole thing. So
the funny thing is I think it was like the next season when we played LA, they were doing in the back of an SUV, and they didn't even let you into the car. They just rolled down the window, and then when they were done,
I remember that. I forgot about. You know what? I totally forgot about that. Yeah, they were they were like, okay, here's the bit on this one. We're not going to let you in the car. You're going to be a guest, but only when we roll down the window.
We have to use a shotgun mic or something to like feed your audio.
I don't even remember, but I was like, that is freaking hilarious. Like, let's do that. You're absolutely right. So, no, and you know what? And I think like it just doesn't fit the mold now of what everybody back then. It was so authentic and so perfect, and it fit, and that's why everybody liked it. But because of that, it got really complicated. So
it makes sense because when it's something like that, when it's incredibly organic and of the moment,
yeah,
then it doesn't feel contrived and forced. And
in our business, you really have to watch out for things that, like, you know, even me doing stuff on YouTube. I asked a long time ago, I'm like, hey, can I do this stuff? Are you guys cool with it? Because I guess in a way, it competes with maybe some of our own digital properties. You know, it's just it's a business. So there's possessive parts of it that you want to make sure that if somebody's onto something that you as a company are benefiting from it, right? I mean, it's a business thing to do, but that's why sometimes maybe a viewer doesn't see it as complicated when in reality on the business side, there's always more to it than you're aware.
Oh, well, it was like when you were talking before that you were able to see footage of the hit with Shimmick that maybe a lot of other people didn't actually see.
Well, I mean, yeah, we typically have all the camera feeds available. Or it was like that time, who bit Vlasic?
Wasn't it Lucci? No, Burrows. Oh, wait a minute. I'm just used to Alexander Burrows biting everybody.
No, but wait, wasn't it somebody...
Was it a Vancouver Canuck?
On Vancouver? I think it was.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Anyway, we didn't even...
Why aren't we surprised it's from Vancouver?
We were, during the postgame show, so we have a big monitor to the left of the set desk that shows, obviously, the game when it's on, but as soon as the game's over, they send on what's called the melt, and it's all the key plays of every different angle. Most of them you didn't even see on TV. So we're in...
Antoine Roussel.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't Roussel?
Right. Yep.
You
got fined $5,000.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? You can bite a guy and it's $5,000, but you can concuss a guy. And like Vlasic lived to play the next game, right? Like he might have had some little marks on his hand there, but you can basically keep a guy out for weeks maybe, and it's just a hockey play, I don't know. But yeah, so we have the ability to see. Long story short, we have the ability to see footage sometimes. If it's that interesting, we try and show it to you. The case of Vlasic getting bit, it wasn't very apparent until we saw the reverse angle that it's like, oh my God, he got bit. So then we decided, hey, we need to show this like on TV. But the other thing is, like, people were saying that the hit on Šimek, they're like, oh, well, Bennett hit him in 0.5 seconds after the puck came off of Šimek's stick, and the tolerance is 0.6 seconds, so it was illegal. Okay, I'm sorry. Do you have access to like a 60 frame per second nonlinear editor? I freaking doubt you do.
That's. Let me just say this. This is a thing that drives me a little bit nuts. Is I do think that. Obviously, Department of Player Safety, I don't know what dartboard they're using for some of this stuff, but the fact that, like, do they take into account, is it only the hit, or do they take into account game situation? Do they take into account what happened to the player who took the hit and figure it out that way? Because you get Erik Karlsson hitting Austin Wagner. Even the guys the guys calling it on Sportsnet said it looked like he got, a lot of shoulder, caught him in the chin, but to them, they saw that was a solid hockey hit. At that point, it's a 1-goal game. It's middle of the second frame. Stuff like that might happen. And then you look at Oliver Ekman-Larsson just drilling LeBanc in the grill, whose head bops back and hits the glass twice. But because LeBanc isn't made of glass like Austin Wagner, he's able to pop up. Now, granted, LeBanc probably should have went to the room for a little bit, but either way, LeBanc gets up, doesn't miss a game. And LeBanc, you think that, well, okay, LeBanc kind of put himself a little bit into a situation because he did turn his head at the last second, did take a little pop. We've seen like Thornton have a couple of hits like that where it's
but even that, like, that doesn't change. Did Oliver Ekman-Larsson then change his angle so he wouldn't pop him in the face? It's like I
get what you're saying.
I saw that too, where people said, well, LeBanc turned at the last second, and he might have, but that's like saying, oh, my little brother, he ran his face into my fist. I didn't punch him. He punched my fist with his face. It's like, what?
But see, my point is that both of those hits at least came like when the game was still very much undecided, whereas this hit, you saw Sam Bennett. I understand why they're saying predatory. If you see where it starts. Now, granted, does Sam Bennett have an issue? Is he pissed off because he got speared by Dell about 10 seconds earlier?
Of course. And you know what, Dell, and honestly, you can ask Kyle McLaren, because I literally said to him when I saw that, I was like, I said, I don't like that. I don't like seeing Dell do that. And you know what? It's not even Dell. I don't like seeing goalies do that stuff. You're the most padded player out there. Like goalies should only fight goalies, and that's about it. Like there should be no goalie skater like dramatic interaction. That's like when Dwayne Rollison used to do that stuff to the Sharks in that playoff series. It like infuriated me. Here's a guy that's completely insulated from everything, and he's being the most
assertive.
Yeah, good word. Assertive player out there. It just I hated that, and so I didn't like to see Dell do that. But here's the difference: like Dell and his stick didn't injure Bennett nearly to the extent that Bennett blindsiding Šimek. Like that was. And again, if you like, here's how what's his name? The former Duck.
Corey
Perry, George Peros.
It might as well be Corey Perry.
George Peros.
Here's how George Peros and company should start the evaluation. Okay, so this hit happened with 25 seconds left in a game that was already well decided by 3 goals. So let's start there. Not, oh, well, it doesn't matter the score, or because Brett Hedican, I saw, replied to somebody and said that I guess the league doesn't account at all for game situation. It's like that would be among the first places I would look. Like if I'm painting a picture, like I'm starting with a base coat of something. That's my base coat right there. The score at the time and the time of the game.
Well, wasn't there a rule introduced in the NHL however many years ago that something about like if the
instigator,
but like in the last 5 minutes, like the coach would get a game if you sent somebody out for a specific reason.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No, and I think it's. I mean, the other thing too is like I wanted to see a lot of that, like when the Flames started scoring goals and maybe taking over the game. I mean. That was at like the halfway point. That was the earlier part of the third period, right? So I'm just saying there was a lot of time that elapsed where nothing happened. Then all of a sudden in the last, 2 minutes, everybody wants to be a hero out there, So
kind of echoing what Evander Kane said after.
I was thinking that as I was saying it. He felt that way too. His comment, by the way, was hilarious. He said, "He goes when I'm not out on the ice, everybody gets a little bit taller." Is that what he said?
Yeah. But somebody had a good chirp about him too with that, is they said, well, it sounds like maybe Evander Kane's a little bit taller in the dressing room.
Like, I mean, he's a guy though that
he'll throw.
I mean, look at tonight, took exception to, I forget. I can't remember exactly what had happened there.
He was trying to come up the left boards and he just got popped right in front of the penalty box.
I ate dinner at one point during the game tonight, so there was portions that my eyes might have been in the bowl versus on the screen. So
yeah, no, I actually tweeted it out on the Teal Town account. The hit, yeah, he took a little bit of exception there. I cannot wait for February 7th. I mean, I still don't understand why his ass was stapled to the bench in the third. He got less than 10 minutes. Why do you not have Dylan out there towards the end instead of Šimek, especially after just what went down with Kane and Tkachuk getting ejected just a minute earlier?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and I don't know, and I don't think we'll ever find out exactly, but something happened there. And the other thing too is like, I don't know that I think what you're saying is you would have wanted Dylan in there, not because you wanted him to be in that situation, but because maybe he could have been more proactive about the situation, right?
Well, just that Dylan is a really big guy, and maybe Bennett doesn't go after the really big guy. He goes after the guy who's been in the league for what, 10 games?
So I mean, like, didn't Bennett got poked, let's say, at about the minute mark? Was that on the same shift? Did he, or was the shift before?
There was a face-off afterwards, and that was the whole thing. There was the face-off after.
I mean, did he go back to the bench and then come back out and hit Šimek? I can't remember.
It was earlier, wasn't it? Wasn't it earlier?
But it wasn't that.
It
wasn't that much earlier. It was. Yeah. I want to say. You know what? I want to say it happened. That might have happened at about like 3 minutes left.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Maybe it was a shift later. I just remember seeing Calgary win the faceoff in the defensive zone. Then you see Bennett on the right side.
Oh, yeah.
Basically behind the goal line. And
Went right.
Makes
yeah.
a beeline to cross,
Yeah.
Skated 60 feet specifically to hit him.
So to me, it's like Bennett had that happen to him, sat there on the bench for 4 minutes real time, and was like, I don't even care who it is.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I have that opportunity, I'm going after him. And you know what? That's just with 25 seconds left. That's how his eyes must have lit up, So
yeah. And again, that's why I'm sitting there. But I still, even regardless of that, I wanted to know, because DeBoer said it today. It was coach's decision why Dylan was stapled to the bench in the third period. I don't know why he is. And I don't know if you're aware of this, Brodie. There were 2 tweets that came maybe, I think, towards the end of the third period or right after the game, that both essentially said the same thing, which was, what the F with PDB sitting Dylan in the third. They both were slightly varied, but it was the same point, and they both used the same language. But it was, WTF with Dylan on the bench. The funny thing, it was within about 40 minutes of those tweets going out, Brendan Dillon liked both of them. And then mysteriously the next morning, unliked them.
Or maybe he has a burner account. Maybe he tweeted them too, and then I'm kidding. Come on, that is so NBA. That is not so. only the NBA guys have the burner.
It was,
guys are too busy for that.
I bet you it was a Ray Ratto burner account.
Oh,
just win the game.
Too soon.
Just win the game.
Ray, here I'll do my Drew imitation now. Ray, what do you think they were trying to do out there? So that's another story, right? Have I told you guys this one before?
Well,
probably.
Drew told us what happened. He said the producer saw
Frank.
Ratto.
Oh, yeah.
Ratto's,
he was like, go get him. So
yeah.
I was in Arizona. I was with Randy and Drew on the broadcast in that game in Arizona. And so I was in the dressing room getting interviews while that was happening, but I still had my earpiece plugged in. So so like what I did is I usually listen to the show while I'm getting interviews and stuff. And I'm just kind of multitasking. And all of a sudden it goes abnormal. And I hear the
hell you think they're trying to do out there, Ray?
I didn't hear exactly what Ray said, right? I heard him, pontificating something. Then all of a sudden I hear Drew just get hot, and I'm like, and people are probably looking at me like, because they don't know I'm listening to something, and I'm like, oh my God, what? So I kind of drop everything and listen in, super carefully. But yeah, and then and I know Drew and Ray, I think, talked like almost immediately after that.
Yeah, he said immediately.
There's no hard feeling. Like they just pushed Drew's buttons, especially from the coaching standpoint and being with the team standpoint. And he's right. That's one thing that it's so hard when you're close to the Sharks or any team. And I mean, like when you're in I used to have privileges of in the dressing room, between periods, I could hear exactly what Todd was saying to the players. And it was oh my gosh. But you're trusted, right? You're in that circle.
Well, and we all got to see a little piece of that on the run up to the Stadium Series.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not, and granted, whatever you're seeing, right, is edited and approved. And I'm saying you're hearing the conversation when they just let up 3 second period goals and they trail by 1,
Yeah.
But my point is when you're around that and you see what goes into a season, you have a really hard time getting too hard on these guys because they're literally giving arms and legs to try and win games. And that's what Drew sees. And that's why it's easy and it's honestly, I have to remind myself of that a lot from the studio. Brodie, you have the easiest view and everything looks easy in slow motion from a studio.
Oh, Drew said that there were times when he'd be in the dressing room for something, whether it was doing a segment for Shark Bite or doing something or other. And he said Jeff Norton, every once in a while would just go, looks pretty friggin' easy from up there, doesn't it?
I mean, that's the old thing about the press box, right? Everything looks easy from upstairs. But so yeah, I mean, and that's why Drew too in that moment was probably here's this guy, and I say this guy, here's Ray. saying it's just so easy to win a game. Of course it's easy for you to say that, when you're not the one lacing up the skates and all that stuff. So, but they talked like right after that. And that never carried over, and it was amazing. And I know even like Drew is that night. I remember he was like still fired up, not so much fired up about like defending the team, but more like I was right. Like, I mean, I know what I said and I feel, but like, he not like trying to justify it, but he was just trying to settle it all in. He was trying to soak it in, I guess.
Well, Drew said that he got a call like almost immediately after the broadcast, and it was like, "Hey, how you doing, honey?" He was like, "Hello, sweetheart. How are you?"
That's and that's the thing too. Like Ray tries to bring the most insightful, not just hockey, everything though, like insightful takes he can, and yeah, like he's got a thing, right?
He plays the curmudgeon.
Yeah, he's got a thing, and so, but I think he like if you know him, you understand that, and if you work with him, you understand that. It's funny when some people totally miss the boat on it, and you're like, oh my god, they don't get it. Like right. They think this guy is always like this. He's not like that,
Yeah, so, he's putting it on.
Yeah.
It's what you know what? We did get a question earlier. What do smelling salts actually smell like?
Oh Jesus. It's funny. My wife just bought like an industrial sized container of Windex today at Costco, which has ammonia in it. And it's basically like take all that, take the biggest thing of Windex you've ever seen, concentrate it into the tiniest little strip you've ever seen, and then have Curtis like jam that up your nostril. It's terrible. It's so I'll tell you the story real quick here. Like it hurt in the moment, and it really did. I was covering my nose because I thought I was bleeding on television all of a sudden because I felt like liquid coming out, and it turned out to be just extreme like watering, right? But not to get too graphic, but for the next 3 weeks, every time I blow my nose, like it'd be bloody, like or like just because the inside of I forget it was left or right. One of the nostrils,
something, man.
One of the nostrils basically got like
gave up,
worn out. Yeah, so it was like every time I just simply get up, wake up in the morning, blow my nose, I'm like, oh, it's bloody. So
that goddamn Curtis.
So yeah, look at Erik. Erik pulling the power move now, bringing the mic a little bit closer.
That's right, Brodie. Thank you very much.
Oh dear Lord.
Hey, did you guys AJ, I know we didn't touch on it. Did you guys know that Vlasic got hurt as well?
Jeez. Both Vlasic and Brent. Well, that's just the way their season's going this year.
Wait, is there a punchline to this?
No. I'm being serious. Kurz tweeted out that he got injured about 11:10, and I'm looking at the replay of the game, and it looks like Vlasic takes a block as well as Goodrow, and then Vlasic trips over Goodrow after he's fallen, and he limps to the bench. So
are they down to 4D by the end of the? I did not notice.
Dude, we're gonna see Nick DeSimone. I'm telling you.
Oh man!
Stick tap to Kevin Kurz with this tweet.
Hang on, let me text Kyle McLaren and see if he's available.
I was gonna say, as agitated as Brent was the other night, I'd say let's get Hetty out there.
No, stick tap to Kurz.
Well, it's not like you need your best D-man out there for like Stamkos or anything, right?
This is what I'm saying.
Like, they're not gonna score any goals on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Jeez. How about let's get Kersey out there, play a little D.
There you go.
No, at one point I thought you would. Somebody had said Curtis, and I thought you would say Kurz, and they were asking, hey, how come Kurz isn't on the broadcast? And I was like, well, I don't think he works for them anymore.
Awkward. No, you know what? I got to be honest. I see Kersey. We text sometimes back and forth, just talking about different stuff and perspectives, and he's around it way more than I am. Now, so I'll ask him some questions here and then, but I'm pretty happy for him. Like the Athletic is so serious about its NHL content, and that's such a good opportunity for him to be there.
No, I've really appreciated that. I still see what's up with Gackle or Pachelka, whoever's writing for the Merc, but
yeah.
But I value my Athletic.
It's funny when people I've seen some people go after Kersey, and I'm like, and he like he tries his best to stay, in like everybody has kind of an angle towards things, right? Like everybody's got what they want to bring to the table, and I don't understand. I don't understand when people go after him maybe for being honest or giving his most honest take. And
I got to be honest with
I'm
you.
not going to justify everything that everybody does, because sometimes I probably do stupid stuff too. But I'm just saying, like, most of the time, I love reading his features. I love reading about how Burns takes care of himself the other day, and I think that's some of his best work.
I like Kerr so much more on The Athletic. I think he was a little filtered when he was doing stuff for NBCSN.
Well, you know what it is. I think that for us, they needed more of like, hey, recap the game. That's what, people are coming to our site for. Mm-hmm. And they know best. But I think The Athletic was kind of like, just write whatever the hell you want. And actually don't write as many recaps. Go more for the storyline type stuff. Yeah. So I think it's just like the objective of what they're going for versus maybe what we were going for. Now, I think our strategies, I think, have changed since then too. But I'm just saying, like, back then, I think they wanted something different from him too. But and it's funny, like some people will, it's like, will pit me against him or say something, or I'll get mentioned in a thread that's been going on for like a week. And they're like, well, Brodie wouldn't say that. I'm like, guys, come on. Like, first off, go easy on Kersey. And second of all, don't put us like side by side like that. That's not, we're not teammates, but we're not like, acquaintance or professional colleagues or whatever you want to call it, like.
Well, I will say though, the thing is, you will chirp or clap back somebody maybe 3 times a year. And
not honestly, like not even like.
Well, yeah, but it's usually somebody like Dallas Braden, somebody on the A's.
Oh well, that doesn't count. Like if it's your buddy,
but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I don't go after a stranger. I don't go after a stranger.
Yeah, but see, that's the difference.
Unless it's
I think Kurz,
whatever that guy's name was. His name sounded more fake than my name, and my name's real. That's the sad
part. Kersey, I think just he lets people poke the bear sometimes, when I think he would just he should just be just turn it off once in a while. Just don't even look at your mentions or whatnot. And what's funny is I think he even posted like his New Year's resolution was going to be less Twitter, more of something else. And first thing that popped into my head was good luck with that.
Well, you know what? It's like I learned a long time ago. Actually, I probably took it from the player's perspective. Like at some point, especially with Twitter, because like that's where people can be anonymous and the used to be the 140 characters. It was like people would just go hard right at you. Blank your mom, this, that, da, da, da. It's like, whoa. But I learned that like a hockey player who gets chirped, the best response is just to be like, don't let them, you open the door, like you just let them win. You gave it up when you weren't even like, you didn't even want this. The best chirp I ever heard rinkside, somebody said something to a Sharks player who I won't name, and said Sharks player looked back at them with the straightest of face and said, I don't even know who you are.
Oh, yeah.
And they just skated away. I was like, I got to use that right there someday. But
Drew had one of the best stories I've ever heard. He said that wherever they were broadcasting from, they didn't have a bathroom up in the press box. So you actually had to like go down a level.
It's probably Detroit.
Detroit.
Yeah. Okay. And he goes, so I'm in there, I'm doing my business. And there's this guy, he's like, have you ever been to the bathroom? You can just feel like someone's looking at you. And so he's like, I finish up, I go to wash my hands. And this guy comes up to me, he goes, Hey, I want to tell you something, man. And Drew's like, okay, fire away, buddy. What do you got? And he's like, I just want to tell you something. And Drew's going, okay, I'm like, I think I'm going to get the big compliment.
3, 2, 1, go.
And he goes, you are without a doubt. And Drew's like, okay, here comes the compliment. And he goes, the worst guy that Hockey Night in Canada has ever had. And Drew's like, wow, man, that's a really big list, buddy. He goes, I know. And that's what makes it even more true. And Drew goes, okay, well, thanks for watching. And he says, the guy goes, "Oh, you're welcome."
Well, and that's all they want, right? They just want
to be acknowledged.
Yeah. And yeah, and look, like it comes with the territory of getting chirped, and fans are gonna, and that's like I said, if a fan's gonna do it, but when somebody in your own business starts going at you like that, come on. Like I have, and don't get me wrong, there are some things I could say about people, that I'm not a fan of. But you don't see me firing off tweets about them. Just let it. Like first off, if somebody comes at you, you generally let it go. And if you have a strong feeling about somebody, and you're instead of me being the instigator, I'll just never let that happen. It's simple. Keep it to yourself.
Hey, Drew knows. Drew knows how you feel about him. It's all right.
He's all right. And in fact, I can give you a little.
I got one.
Hey everybody, Drew Remenda here. You're listening to another podcast from Teal Town, USA.
Man, how hard does he's like he practiced that right there. Like he's got.
I just gave him the line and he went for it.
What are we looking at, Erik?
The Vlasic injury. This is the Vlasic injury right here. So it just passed. It'll pull right back up. Vlasic's up here. Goodrow goes to blocks his shot and he trips over it, and then he's wincing in pain.
I see that.
So hopefully, I mean, we'll call it overall body soreness for Vlasic.
I hope it's.
Did you gift that?
Yeah.
Did you post it?
I'm about to post it on there.
Yeah. Okay.
Now you guys stole that from NBC, right? Like like my company should be benefiting from that, not you guys, right? Just checking.
Hey, if once we hit the same amount of followers as they have, then sure.
Right.
It's my biggest gripe with baseball. And well, I don't deal with the NFL too much, but like baseball, can't tweet any videos out. In fact, I was told even this year, no GIFs, no.
Really?
Yep. No, nothing. I'm like, huh? Because 2 years ago, they were like, hey, guess what? We have relaxed our rules. Do anything you want. Do anything you like. Oh, great. Like tweet out, and this goes for like if we're talking about something in pregame that's got video over it, I can't even clip it off and play it because it has some type of like any kind of video. If it has game action, no go. So
see, and isn't like baseball dwindling in ratings? Like, wouldn't you
with young people? Yeah, with young people.
Wouldn't you do more to get it out there,
the
especially
NBA,
on a social platform?
And the NHL does a pretty good job of just saying, hey, if fans like it and it's going to go viral and people are going to share it, then we want it out there. We're not going to, and I think
so. Instead of
Adam Silver said it.
If something remarkable happens and somebody who's watching the game decides to record it really fast, put up a GIF, he gets all the,
Well, here's the funny part. So like I work for the network. And if I will get myself and the network in trouble if I'm out there putting our own video out there, which I completely have access to. Like I can make a clip in 2 seconds. But if somebody else does it at home on a more anonymous level, they just won't go after you because they're like, yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth our time. And that person may have more of a following or more of a, like 50 million people could retweet. If Erik has, I don't know, Joe Thornton's fourth goal, right? Like, or that wouldn't count. Or Joe Thornton hitting a baseball, like, and it gets blown up on Twitter. Then, and I can't do it, but they won't stop you from doing it, So
well, I don't know if you remember. Well, you probably do because I like tweeted every time we played Buffalo. But that one time where like 3 guys were going after Jumbo
formation,
oh god, yeah,
dude, I was like, my handle was like trending in Canada about within like 30 minutes of that. It went huge. There were people that were claiming it was photoshopped, and then I turned around and like shot. This was back when Vine was still a thing, and I posted the Vine of it. And just people they could not, but ladies and gentlemen, the Buffalo Sabres, this is who they are. But I remember that went huge when you capture those little moments. I mean, and even you guys used it on the broadcast on Postgame, and even Hedican was going, that is a hilarious shot.
Yeah, that was a good one. I feel like at 11:30 here, I'm reaching my end, but I can't.
We've done this now 78 times.
I cannot play this.
At some point, just win the game.
Yep.
Okay, don't make this complicated. If you're
This
a
is
contender,
this is, by the way, a tribute to Raymond.
this is since the first of the year, they've won 8 of 26 road games. That's not a playoff.
Like he did some research there.
You can't go back to back and just say, well, I guess the Ducks have our number. I guess Mike Smith has our number.
Desert Dogs.
Well, then what's the point of it's infuriating
Win
to
the
watch a
game.
team that ought to be third and ought to be comfortably third playing like they really deserve
Drew Remender right now, smoke,
And that's what
steam
I
coming
saw
out of his
tonight.
ears.
I saw a team that did just enough.
And then Scott Reese is about to say, all right, let's go back out to Glendale.
But not finish. I mean, I didn't see a lot of great opportunities tonight. I just didn't see a Sharks team.
He's going on for a while
this
there.
Game mattered to them as much as it should have.
Ray Ratto echoing the frustrations of Shark fans, to be sure. Let's send it out to Phoenix and say hi to Randy and Drew one more time, guys. Look, bottom line.
Just see Drew's face. He just looked at Randy like somebody pissed in his coffee. And then a couple times he get like when Drew would get mad, he'd have like a flinch in him. He'd be like he was about to, like an MMA, he's about to attack.
In the division, you're going to be watching the playoffs at home. The Sharks.
And I forget how. So Randy knows. Okay, so here let's bring you a real.
Drew goes, I'm going.
Randy knows in deep down. He's like, okay, Drew is about to unload here. So how? And Randy knows he's got to set him up. I forget how he did this. So let's
better solve both those problems quickly.
You think Ray Rattle's frustrated? Imagine how the Sharks are. 67 shots taken in 2 nights in Anaheim and here in Phoenix, and 1 goal to show for it.
I don't want to get an argument over here as Rays in San Francisco and I'm here, but I saw a Shark.
I don't want to get an argument, but I'm about to do that.
Team who was trying to win. And it's easy to say, just go win the game. Well, what the heck do you think they were trying to do out there, Ray? That's exactly what they were trying to do. They were out there with a game plan. They came out and established their game.
You know what? Ray wasn't wrong in that case, and Drew is not wrong in this case
They went out
either.
and worked hard. I agree with Brent. They weren't great, but they were good.
Anyway, all right. No, that's a classic.
I'm gonna. Oh man, that might be a shirt, my friend. Who pissed in your Pete's?
Just go out there and win the game.
Little Pete's coffee reference. Who pissed in your Pete's?
I'm surprised my camera battery is not. Honestly, this is like way longer than I thought I was going to get out of it. So it's good to know.
I'm waiting to see, like a little red light in the bottom left corner or something. Start.
I can make that happen. I just go touch the info bar and all the thing, a little pop up on there. So.
Well, thanks for coming.
I was joking when I said midnight. Holy smokes! We got pretty close.
11:33. Well, Brodie, as always, we appreciate you coming on, and you are a diehard Shark fan growing up like I am, and to bring that passion on air and to do this is extremely appreciated.
I appreciate that, Erik. Professional groupie is what I like to be known as.
Oh, okay.
They pay
my
me.
turn to kiss his ass now, or no?
Yeah, okay. AJ, now
going.
AJ, please bow to the throne. You're next.
We're not worthy.
No, that's like okay. See, here's the difference. I've known both you guys long enough. Here's the difference. Erik knows how to. Erik is, he's got the heart of a champion. Or how do I say it? He's got the soft side. He's got, he's very
the careless whisper. Is that?
No, he's got a soul to him. And then AJ's over there like, how can I get a jab in? How can I
ruin this? How can I ruin this moment?
How can I bring us all back down to earth?
Right.
No, it's my pleasure, guys. I'm glad you guys were still on after my post-game show.
Absolutely. Was that like a warm-up for when the playoffs start and you guys are off?
Well, no, I mean, I think we do TV stuff, TV post-game shows once after round 1, like we did last year for the Vegas series. But yeah, it stinks, man, when we're not doing the games and we're just doing the post-game. It's cool because people are like, all right, switch the channel. We want to hear what these guys. We want to hear the routine that we're used to. Yeah, I think as the season goes on here and the handful of national games that are left, I think what I may actually do is not do post-game stuff, but I may just be like, all right, second period, I'm going to go on YouTube.
Like
but I don't know.
You did with Curtis for that one period where you just
Yeah, I just think it might be like it's super distracting to try and carry on meaningful conversation
and watch the game.
Because then everybody's like, "Oh, you idiot, you missed that." I'm like, "Oh crap, I did because I was talking or looking at 5 tweets and whatever." So it is the ultimate multitasking, and you can't do a really good job. That's what we have. I mean, Sonia's for when we started doing Twitter mission, I was like, here's what I need: somebody else to watch Twitter, so I can worry about going back on and off TV, and steering the ship a little bit. So.
Yeah, I thought I had a Twitter problem. Boy, Sonia's pops, man, good on him.
He's awesome.
Dude does not miss a Twitter mission.
Pretty loyal, huh?
Oh man, that guy, and always has some really good takes to throw in there.
That's good. I honestly never really get to see all the comments because they're gone by the time I go back and retweet it or whatever. So anyway, all right, boys.
Thanks, Brodie.
Appreciate you.
Take it easy.
See ya.
Take care.
Well, you don't see that from any other podcast, do you? That was fantastic. Let me tell you.
I think we're going. This might be going towards the record of longest one that wasn't a celebratory Western Conference championship.
There you go. Hey,
but that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you can always spin a yarn with those guys, Drew, Brodie, and I mean, they all have their vocation. They have the gift of gab. What can you say?
Right.
It's awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah. No, if we could, how awesome would it be if he jumped on every third or fourth cast and said, by the way, you don't know what happened tonight, but behind the scenes,
And here to tell you what happened in Who's Spittin' Pete's Coffee. Here's Brodie talk about it.
Yes. So that does happen. For those of you watching who's still with us, riding high, we appreciate it. Ride or die. Do us a favor, hit subscribe. You never know who might show up on the next show. I'm telling you right now.
Right.
But do us a favor, hit subscribe, follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, do a pregame report for every game day. You can look forward to that. Of course, we have Felix's latest article up on Teal Town USA. New episode of Puck Knowledges is up there. And oh my God, John throwing us 10 for the cause.
Oh, jeez. John, you've been awesome tonight. Thank you very much.
Totally appreciate that. So, that's where to catch us on all of them. If you use iTunes, give us a little love on there with a review or something. Let's see. Okay, I got nervous for a second. I just saw Twitter pop up and I saw Donskoy's name and also injury, and I freaked out for a second. But we're all fine. We're all fine. So anyway, getting back to the task at hand, the Sharks are playing a game this Saturday.
Yes,
so a couple of things. Tampa Bay comes in 9-0-1. They're on a 6-game win streak right now. The Sharks could potentially be down 3 defensemen. Holy hell. So bring out the firepower, boys. And who knows? I mean, if you call up, if you get Heat in there, if you get DeSimone in there, I don't know that Middleton is going to get called up or something, but the Barracuda do have a couple guys that maybe it's they're just not going to think about. They're just going to go out there and play defense there, and maybe that's what the Sharks need at this point, where they don't you can let Erik Karlsson and Brent Burns overthink things and do all their creative stuff, but maybe you need a couple of guys out there at this point that just focus on get the puck the hell out of the out of the defensive zone.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let shots get through to Joner, and just get it into the neutral zone, feed our transition, do what we can in that regard. Maybe that's something that could work for the Sharks coming up. The Tampa Bay game, you can't really call it a litmus test if you're missing 3 of your key defensemen. Sorry, that's just how it goes. And it's not great because you're talking this Saturday starts 3 and 4. And they're all at home, and you do get LA in there, but you also get a rematch against Edmonton. You can bet they're going to be pissed off after the way they got run out of their building by the Sharks just a week or so ago. So, Jerry F., do you bring in DeSimone or Middleton? I bring them both in at this point. So, who is up right now at the forward position? It's still Chartier?
I believe it's still Chartier.
Send his ass down. we're going all defensemen. In fact, we need to notify the Barracuda. They're going to be having a forward play defense on their next couple of games. But it's okay. They have a 3 against Ontario, and they're the bottom of the barrel in that division that the CUDA play in. So we'll see what happens, but 3 of 4 starting this Saturday with Tampa. Again, Owen Nolan bobblehead night. The game starts 30 minutes later, so be prepared for that. That means the doors are going to open 30 minutes later. Everything. Well,
6:45 is
thank
when
you,
the
Kayla.
doors should open.
Yeah. Well, you'll see right coming in. Well, I'm seeing the delayed feed, but you'll see Kayla jump through here in a sec. Anyway, but yeah. That's it. I think somebody neglected to tell the affiliates we're running long tonight. We didn't know. We did not know that we were going to be running this long tonight. So there you go.
I don't have to work tomorrow.
Yeah. Again, Pucknologists dropped earlier today. Just me and Rocket. No jerk. He was on assignment, but he should be back with us, and we should be back in our usual schedule, our usual time slot, so to speak, Sunday nights to Monday mornings when it comes out. We're looking to get that going for the new year. So with that, I'm AJ_Strong on Twitter, on Instagram, also doing some Grammys here and there for Teal Town USA and the pregame report, all that fun stuff. So my final thought is, if there's an angel of defense, let him come in and heal these poor sons of guns. Because if you think about it, like the Sharks, I believe, are at the very bottom of the list when it comes to man games lost. They've been very fortunate on the injury side of things. I would hate for this to be the start of something. So please, God, if you're a fair and just guy, the hockey gods, let this be like a one injury thing and it's all done. And finally, thank you very much to the people who hooked us up on the super chat tonight with supporting the show with some funds. We totally appreciate that. Hosting this stuff is not free. The vanity URL is not free. We don't get paid to do any of this stuff. So we'll
probably have to throw down a gift card to Brodie later this year.
But I'll take him out to Pete's Coffee. He'll be fine. But yes, totally appreciate that from everybody who donated, and believe all this money goes right back into this to help pay for all that. Nobody is pocketing a damn nickel. I guarantee you that.
And we'll put it this way: there might be a surprise announcement coming on Saturday night. We'll keep you tuned in on something merchandise wise.
Could let me know too, but all right.
I was going to, but we went long.
It's all good.
So with that, I am at PuckGuy14 on the Twitter and Instagram. We've been doing this for almost 4 years now, so thank you so much. For people who we were happy with just 10 people watching us about 4 years ago, and now we hit, I think, 68 tonight and have over 1,100 subscribers. So we truly appreciate this, and the super chat givers, or even if you just tune in, we really appreciate what you do when joining us. So thank you, Jerry F. Appreciate it, and Alex. Yeah,
love you. That was awesome.
But until Saturday night, this is Teal Town After Dark saying, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Thank you for watching, and have a good night, everyone.
Hey, I'm Brodie Brazil, and welcome to Teal Town After Dark.